up, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite Devo that you've ever done in your life. This is Sadie and Christian here, just on another beautiful day to encourage you and to uplift you, but also to potentially challenge you. And we're so excited to be here today. And we're on day 26. I think I already mentioned that, but God has great plans for you. And our verse today is Proverbs 16:9 that says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." This is such a verse that I love it so much, but it's also a wrestle for me. I'm a very I'm a 1 on the Enneagram, so I'm a very perfectionist. I like things to be my way, and I usually think other people are wrong a lot of the times. But all that to say, it can be hard for me to really give up control in that. I like things to be surefire and really the way that I want it to be, and it can be not natural for me to really just trust the Lord in those areas, because I physically like to see my steps. It's the same thing in the scriptures where it says we walk by faith and not by sight. I love that verse, but it's harder to live by it than it is just to read it.
So you're making me think of Proverbs 3 where it says trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Yeah. Because you said I always think I'm right, Not me, you always think you're right. This is going to turn into marriage counseling. We both always think that we're right. But the Lord says, lean not on your own understanding. That's what the Word of God says. In all your ways, acknowledge Him and He will make your path straight. So leaning into that can be uncomfortable to be like, okay, this is not my understanding. This is not what I would want or my way. But Lord, I trust that yours is better.
Yeah, well, because there's so many verses that really kind of piggyback off that, right? You even have, in the scriptures where it says, it's in James, but we're talking about Lord willing. Why do you say you're going to go to to and fro such towns, and but at the end of the day, it's you can make the plans, but God's going to establish the steps. So I've gotten better at saying, hey, tomorrow we're going to go do this, Lord willing.
Lord willing, yeah.
We have gotten, especially just with the craziness of life, we have gotten to where we have to really say, Lord willing. And we have some awesome questions here in the book that we really want to go through with you all today.
Yeah, so these questions kind of come from a time in Christian and I's life where we didn't really know what our next step was. It was one of those times where we were like, whoa, the future just seems crazy. And actually it was a time in our life where all of our plans just got canceled. It was 2020, shortly after 2020, because we had all these plans for that year. And of course, just like all of you, all of our plans got canceled. And it kind of just made us go whoa, what is our next step? What is our next place? And so we actually met with a life coach. I'm not saying everyone has to do that. You need to do that. It was very helpful for us at the time that we were in. And this was a guy that several of our family members had recommended and different people we work with who trusted and loved. And he gave us these questions to ask ourselves just to kind of get started in what our next step was, hey, let's just ask ourselves these simple questions and see what's important to us right now. And so we want to ask you these same questions and let you kind of ponder on them.
So question number 1. Which people in your life do you want to stay invested in?
So great question. Think about that. Who's in your life right now that you really want to stay invested in? Not just maybe some people, it's not the time to invest in that friendship, that relationship. Maybe some people you need to cut out. This is not the time in a kind and loving way. Yeah. But maybe there are some that you're looking at, you're like, okay, I really need to invest in making those relationships deeper. Yeah. The second one is, what are you passionate about?
I love this question.
What makes you excited? What makes you passionate? What makes you get up and feel purpose?
Well, what I love about this is, really when I think about what are you passionate about, I think about Acts 2. Or not Acts 2. Acts 2 is when Peter gets up to preach, but it is Peter. That's when Jesus meets Peter throughout the Gospels, and Peter's a fisherman, and Jesus meets him fishing, and he gives him this mission of you're going to be fishers of men. Peter had been catching fish, and Jesus gave him this mission, and just this idea about passion. I think so many of us can get caught up in what's our purpose, what are we going to do, what's our calling. And, it's so nuanced, but it's really just whatever you love to do, whatever you're passionate about doing, that's your ministry. Yeah. So if you're an athlete, if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, whatever you're passionate about doing, you bring God into that. It doesn't necessarily have to be speaking on a stage or working at a church or those kind of things. Question number 3, What spiritual gifts do you possess?
Yeah. So we'll kind of read you some of ours. I said, I'm a starter, an ideas person, a creator. Christian is more of a realist. How can we get this done type of guy? And this is why we make a great team. And so when you think about your spiritual gifts, yes, there are spiritual gifts in the Bible that we all have as a part of the church. But what are some things that God just uniquely made you as? Like, you're the original you. Are you creative? Are you a thinker, a dreamer, a doer, a planner? Like, what makes you you and what makes you come alive?
Well, I feel like it even kind of ties into, like, we talk about your spiritual life and then your personal life, right? Isn't that what you say?
Yep, your spiritual life and your personal life, and they shouldn't be two separate things. They should be one thing.
It's like your gifts, like whatever your gifts are in your personal life, like how can that also be a gift for you spiritually?
Yeah. So number 4, you want to read this one?
Yep. So we just talked about gifts, and number 4 is how effectively are you using your gifts to honor God?
So just like what Christian said, it's not just like, oh, here's my personal life, here's my spiritual life. It's like, how can they be one and the same? How can I use my gifts in my everyday life? And the last one, in 10 years, if you are doing anything your heart desired, what would you be doing? So we kind of wrote that Christian's still thinking about that at the time you were. And I was like, I would love to be hosted a talk show like Oprah, but an encouraging one, a Christian talk show. So, hey, we'll see. But, there's all kinds of dreams that I have that I would love to get to, and as do you. But I think that those things are good because they kind of give you direction in life. Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed. And I love that verse because we talked about commitment another day when you were talking about persistence. And just there's so much God can do when you just commit to something. And I was thinking about I was actually talking to a friend about this the other day. She has so many things that she loves to do. And she said, Sadie, like, I just have such a hard time knowing what to say yes to. And I said, well, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? What do you want to be doing in 5 years? What do you really see yourself doing? And what are you passionate about? And she shared with me this vision. And I said, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to say yes to everything that leads you to that. And you're going to say no to the things that don't, that can kind of help steer you and guide you. So when you have vision for where you're wanting to go, it can help you say yes or no to things that are either going to get you there or deter you from there. It's like if I know that I'm going to go to Florida, what am I going to do? I'm going to put in my map the direction so that as I go, I'm directed my left, my right on how to get there. But if I don't have vision for where I'm going to go, then my steps might be a little crazy. I don't know where I'm going to end up. If I have no vision, where am I going to be headed? And so I love that. Commit your plans to the Lord, but also be willing to say, Lord, if you change the plan, if your ways are, your ways are higher, your ways are better. If I'm not seeing this right, if I'm not getting this right, then redirect my steps because I don't want to walk in my understanding. I want to walk in yours. And so think about these things today. Maybe take some time with this one. This might be one of those devos that you listen to, but you need to go and actually open your journal. You need to talk to a friend about. Don't just let this go in one ear, out the other, but do the work to actually do this. Like Christian and I, we went to that life coach. We were there for 3 days and we have a whole roll of papers that's in our office just to remind us of the vision and the things that we're working towards. So I hope this encourages you today and that you can work towards something that God has in your life.